Super Bowl Sunday is imminent. So we have all the cast here. We got Nick in the house. We got Colin in the house. We got Roman in the house to talk about our Super Bowl predictions. How you guys doing?
Good.
Well,
everyone's good.
We can just get started right away. We got a couple days until the big game. Are we even allowed to say Super Bowl, by the way? Is that allowed?
Why would that not be allowed?
I swear, like in commercials or in like any advertisements, you can't actually say Super Bowl like on radio or anything.
Super Bowl.
I mean, obviously this is so small that nobody will care, but like I swear that's a thing. Anyways,
if we get copyrighted,
I think it would be better for the show to get copyrighted. It would be actual publicity for the show. But anyways,
Pepsi, Coke, Super Bowl,
Stop. They're
Miami.
gonna take down the whole show.
It's already demonetized already.
You don't get money for podcasts.
I know.
You're not making any money now, though.
Yeah. I can't make any less than I already am. Anyways, getting to the big game, the Super Bowl. This is one of the closest Super Bowls in terms of the competition in recent memory. I can't really recall a situation where there were two heavy hitters, probably almost top of the division, each of them top of the division, top seeds almost in their conference, going at it in the Super Bowl. So I'm very excited from this prospect, but I don't know. I'll let you guys start. What do you guys think?
Nick?
Yeah, let's give Nick the floor. He's back on the podcast.
You want to give me the floor?
Yeah, Nick, what do you think, man?
I'm thinking... that's a good question. I want to hear some...
You already know your answer.
Know you're thinking. He's like, let me think.
Obviously, you know what? Even though I prepared for a week for this,
obviously,
let me just act like I'm thinking right now.
Obviously, I'm taking the Chiefs. There's no doubt about it. Patrick Mahomes is an unbelievable offensive weapon by far. If you guys don't agree with me, I don't know what to say.
And along with having the best quarterback in the NFL. Some people
say
the most talented quarterback in the history of the NFL.
I think we should pump the brakes on those. Just a tad.
Number wise, he's on trajectory to be the most talented quarterback in the NFL.
Okay, but
besides the point. Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the NFL right now, and he's got such a plethora of weapons at his disposal on offense. Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. So many guys.
Damian Williams.
Damian Williams isn't a scrub.
Shady McCoy, who's probably not going to play.
That's my boy.
Shady. McCole Hardman.
Yeah, there's a lot of weapons available.
Yeah.
Even though the 49ers defense is formidable.
They also got a good defense too as well. I mean, you saw them stop. Yeah, you saw them stop.
It's not,
I'm telling you,
they played well.
It's not bad. It's good enough for a Super Bowl.
I'm telling you that Derrick Henry rushed for so many yards on Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
They pretty much held their ground when they said they were going to stop Derrick Henry. So I don't really see San Francisco running the ball that well on Kansas City.
Okay.
But I see Jimmy Garoppolo having to take matters into his own hands and having to pass the ball. So I just want to know what you guys think.
You really think that?
I'm going to disagree with what you just said there, Nick. During the regular season, Kansas City was the 28th worst rushing defense in the entire league. And San Fran being a very run-heavy offense, I feel like that might cause them some issues. Obviously, we know what Kansas City's offense is about. It's all Patrick Mahomes and the weapons he has, but the defense has always been a little bit suspect for me for the Chiefs. I think they just had Mahomes there just to kind of, pad every win. Maybe it's a close game, but you got Patty Mahomes on your team, so you're going to end up winning by a couple scores. But that Kansas City defense, 28th in rushing defense, that's not great.
That's not good at all.
Especially for a team like San Fran, who has made their bread and butter the running.
Jimmy Garoppolo attempted 8 passes against the Packers.
Yeah.
He completed 6, but he attempted fucking
he didn't
8.
have to do much.
Yeah, Mostert ran for I think it was 20-something times.
It was insane.
Mostert ran a bunch. 4 TDs. They've got a bunch of good backs. They've got Matt Breida. They got Juszczyk still. They've got dudes in the backfield in San Francisco that makes me a little bit worrisome for Kansas City's defense.
I just think if you can stop Derrick Henry, I guess I look at the ranking as, Not really. I mean, it's truthful, but like you show up on Sunday, you play the big game. That's how you really tell how good your defense is. I mean, you know what I'm saying. I mean, they stopped Derrick Henry. They held him under 100 yards. Baltimore has the top 5 rush defense, and they let Derrick Henry rush for 200 yards. So I'm saying, in any given Sunday, anything can happen, and I don't see after coming off a game like that where they held Derrick Henry over under 100 yards that they wouldn't hold Mostert. And who's the other running back in San Francisco? Matt Breida. Like, they wouldn't hold them under 100 yards each.
Again, I'm going to disagree with you because I think if we're comparing San Francisco to the Tennessee Titans, yes, like, I understand your argument about, any given Sunday you can go into a stadium and win. Like, I completely agree with that. But I think the Titans and the 49ers are just different animals. I think the Titans were really heavily dependent on Derrick Henry, and they didn't really have anyone else to go to when that wasn't working. As you said, they held Henry to under 100 rushing yards or whatever. That's good, but when you're the Titans, that's kind of the thing that you have. But in terms of San Francisco, if their running game isn't working, let's just throw the ball to George Kittle.
Garoppolo throw though.
Deebo Samuel, he can make passes. We've never been on Garoppolo with saying, he can't make passes.
But so can Tannehill. Tannehill can make the passes too, and we've seen him do it.
Tannehill's the best passer in the NFL.
Okay, but let me ask you this: do you like the Titans' weapons on offense more, or do you like San Francisco's weapons on offense more?
San Fran.
That's what I'm saying. I like
San Fran.
Even including Derrick Henry with the Titans, I still like San Fran's weapons around their quarterback more than I like the Titans' weapons around their quarterback. And I do think that Garoppolo is a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill, so that also says something.
Is that proven yet?
Yes.
I don't know, man. I'm still not sold on Jimmy G. I've been saying it all season. I don't know if he can win a game with his own arm. I think it's going to be, especially in a game where the other team's going to put up a ton of points. And, Casey might, if you're smart, which Andy Reid is, he's going to make Jimmy G beat them if they're going to win. It's not going to be the running game. He's going to try to make Jimmy G win that game for the 49ers. So there hasn't been a ton of proof into Jimmy G being the guy that is going to make those big plays by himself to set up and set his team for victory. I think it's going to be a bit of a shootout. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's going to be within 10 points, probably within 7 points. So, in that scenario, who do you want throwing the ball for you, Patrick Mahomes or Jimmy Garoppolo? And that's the difference for me. I think KC are going to win this one. I don't think they're going to blow them out, but you got to like KC's offense to overpower that defense. And there's a lot of questions recently about Richard Sherman playing man-to-man coverage because he's so tremendous in his zone coverage. But, we saw in the Packers game he got burned. I know that's just one example. But there's a lot of questions being raised there. And with so many weapons for Patrick Mahomes, I think that the 49ers backs might be a little bit overwhelmed by how many options that Mahomes has. And Mahomes is even showing that, he can run the ball. Or they're not scared to play through Damian Williams. There's just so much talent on offense for KC. Yeah. I think that they'll just push them over the line in the Super Bowl.
I think your point is fair about KC, but I'm still gonna stick with San Fran just because we've seen in Super Bowls prior that defense will win you the championship. We saw that in last year's Super Bowl. Last year's Super Bowl was probably one of the worst ones, but what won it? Defense. Okay, and
Atlanta, New England.
Yeah, it's not always defense.
Okay, but I'm saying, hear me out. I've been really high on San Fran's defense all year. We all have.
They're good D.
It's real. It's very real.
Very scary.
they're second in the league in rush defense. They are 13th in the league in pass defense. Not great, but also not terrible.
It's pretty good.
It's good enough.
It is pretty good. Sorry, that was offense. They are 17th in rush defense, first in pass defense.
Oh.
That's the thing I wanted to bring up.
Interesting.
I knew what I read was weird.
They
are first in pass defense. That is I would be looking at that and I'd be a little bit concerned.
Well, yeah, you're concerned, but we saw when the Chiefs play against the Titans that they're not afraid to run the ball. Like, they ran uncharacteristically. They ran a lot more than usual in that game. They showed that they are willing to run the ball, whether it be through Damian Williams or even Patrick
Yes, but if
Mahomes
you're
can
San
do it.
Francisco, that's what you want them to do. You want KC to run
Yeah,
the ball.
but
So
even
I
if
feel like
they,
that's
but,
what
but
they're gonna.
even if they do, they can still win by running the football. That's what I'm
They have
saying.
I don't
many
think-
weapons, man.
I don't think KC is as effective when they're running the ball.
No, they aren't,
Oh,
but they're
I've
still
seen it.
effective.
I think they're still
They're still
effective.
effective
I
enough to
think
win the game.
I think if KC has to resort to running the ball and San Fran is locking down all of Mahomes' guys, I definitely think that could make a winnable game for San Fran.
How can you lock down all of Mahomes' guys? He's got so many dogs on offense.
He
How are you
does.
supposed to lock them all down? I can't.
I don't know, man. I'm
It's
just
too-
saying
it's
that's
too
the best
much.
pass defense in the league. They're gonna play like it on Sunday.
Oh, they're.
I think it'll-
They're gonna make it more difficult than normal. but
I
I'm
also
still-
think, yes, Mahomes has been very poised in the playoffs, but this is a Super Bowl. He hasn't been in the Super Bowl yet, so we'll see how he adjusts. Right? He
Say
still
the
is
same
a
thing about Garoppolo.
a second-year quarterback.
Say the same thing. about
Garoppolo's
Garoppolo.
much older than Patty Mahomes.
Yeah,
You
but
think he's been to a
how
Super
many?
Bowl?
Garoppolo has been to Super
And
How
Bowl.
many
Garoppolo
years-
also barely throws
How
the
many
ball in
years
the
has
season.
Garoppolo been a starter in the NFL?
Fair, about the same as Patty. I just think if I'm gonna pick one of these guys to have an off night,
I'm picking Garoppolo. Don't you dare say Mahomes.
Oh, if
Don't
okay,
dare
I
say
might pick
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
No, I
What
would.
the
If I have to pick one to have an off night, it's Mahomes because Jimmy G doesn't have to do anything special. So how can you mess up throwing 8 fucking slant passes? Like,
You
how
never
can you
know.
mess that up? But can you mess up throwing bombs into Richard Sherman territory?
Patty
Oh yeah,
Mahomes-
you can mess up doing that. But
Patty
Jimmy G,
Mahomes
how
has
can
a
you mess
lot
up-
on his shoulders.
No,
a
I agree with
lot.
that
There's
point.
so much pressure on him
Oh, I
going into this
understand
game.
that.
Yeah, I get that, but like he can have an off game and they could still I see Casey win this game based off like a lot of variables. Like Patrick Mahomes could play poorly and they could still win. They could still win with a poor or a lesser performance from Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if he can be bad and they can win,
Didn't
but
KC win some games when Patrick Mahomes was out? I swear he's out in the season.
I think they
a few
won.
games.
There
He
was-
was out the first 5 games or something, or
No,
he was
he-
injured like
middle.
in like
I
week.
think he missed like 3 games. They either won 1 or 2 of those games. They won at least 1.
I don't know who the backup was, but
I forget the exact
Chad
games.
Henne?
No,
Chad Henne is the backup right now. I think they just signed him.
No,
I'm
it was
pretty
someone
sure.
else.
But it is someone
I don't
else.
know.
it was someone
Okay.
else. I don't know what his
Forget.
name was.
I mean, it's not really important right now.
No.
It's not.
But Jimmy G doesn't need to win the game. Like it's not
It's not.
It's not a Jimmy G versus.
There's so much
Mahomes
more
Super
pressure
Bowl.
on Patty Mahomes, man. There's so much
Oh,
more.
I
Jimmy
mean-
G has the ideal dream team that any quarterback would want. I think.
Yeah, like
That's
he
fair.
doesn't have to do much. Like
No,
he
he's
does.
he's got dudes
I've
like
said-
just like Mahomes has dudes on offense. Garoppolo
yeah.
has dudes on offense.
I've
too, like-
said this so many fucking times on this show. Jimmy G is not going to make your team better, but he's also not going to make your team worse. So you're fine to have him in a game like this because he has so many weapons. He's just going to be there. He can do his thing. He'll throw a little slant, get you.
And who knows?
the
Maybe
game.
he's been learning from Tom Brady, watching him go on runs, and I don't know. I'm just saying.
He's
I
learning
think.
Tom Brady, then he's throwing
Pull that out of your
slants.
ass.
I think it's
Then
a.
he's-
I still think it's
Nothing
a.
changes.
I still think it's a factor when you're looking at this game here. I think.
You think Tom Brady's a factor in this game because of his?
I think Jimmy G getting to learn in a system under Brady and Belichick for his first few years it's not going to hurt him.
What's-
What, it's
Sound-
going to hurt him
you
in the
sound-
Super Bowl?
You sound like ESPN
Not
just trying to
gonna
tie
hurt
in Tom Brady in any way you can to this game.
Oh, I can
I-
tie in Tom Brady.
I
more.
do see Tom Brady reaching out to Jimmy G before the Super Bowl. I see him giving a little like prep talk. I don't see him going
Over under 3
Are we betting on
three
that?
mouth kisses for Tom Brady's son.
No, I'm
taking the over.
No, I'm just saying that like Brady definitely reached out to Jimmy G and said, "Hey, don't let this big moment define you." You know what I mean? Like it's just another game kind of thing, right?
That text from the GOAT will
I don't know. I feel
solidify
like it's more of an after game kind of thing.
You think it's an after?
No, I think it's
Yeah,
before.
if they lose, like don't let this moment define you. Like lots of.
You think Jimmy
big
G
things
and
happen.
Robert Kraft went to a massage parlor in Miami?
Yo, Jimmy doesn't need a massage parlor. Look at the guy. He's fine.
Yeah, I
He'll
know.
just
The
walk
guy
out,
walks into a bar. He's just a
walks into a bar
walking
and
marble
he's,
statue.
and he's out in 5 minutes, man.
He's out in 5 minutes.
Hey, look
What the
at.
hell are we talking about?
I know this has gone so.
Is Jimmy G good looking enough to just win the Super Bowl?
They don't field anybody for the 49ers. They just put Jimmy G out.
Whole crowd going nuts.
Yeah!
Whole crowd's going nuts. Jeez. Back to the point, though. Jimmy G doesn't need to be special. It's got to be a lot of, obviously the team is formidable around him. I just think that, I'm just going to sum up. I've said all my points. Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the NFL. I think he's gonna boss the game. He's gonna dictate the outcome. He is going to be the reason that KC lose or win. Like, it's gonna be on Mahomes.
I'd say that's fair.
That's fair.
I'd say it's fair.
If I had to pick an MVP, Mahomes, because I think KC's gonna win, and Mahomes is the factor whether or not KC win, and that's been the case throughout most of the season.
I agree.
I agree as well.
I think that's a fair take. It's hard to pick against KC. I just think
It's a pick 'em Super Bowl.
I'm picking San Fran because I think they're the better all-around team.
I think they have more. Yeah, I see.
I see why you would pick the better all-around team.
I see why you'd say San Francisco's better all around. That defense is super young, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
they've got all four top five picks on their D line.
I think there is some holes for the Chiefs, but I just think it's so impossible to stop Mahomes. And the way that Mahomes has been playing in the last couple of games, that's going to be tough to stop. You know what I mean?
He's been going off,
think it will be
and
too.
he's got momentum. He's got his momentum going in. It's not a given.
paid.
Look, as much we talk about how young Patrick Mahomes is, and he'll probably be to many Super Bowls. This might be the only shot he gets.
You never know.
And it's unlikely that's the case. But when Dan Marino made it around this age, we're like, okay, well, he lost, but people were like, but he's gonna be back at some point. He's gonna get a Super Bowl. Well,
Who knows?
he didn't.
Yep.
So, you don't take moments like this for granted.
It's never a given that we'll just be back here.
Yeah, exactly.
Only
That's
8
what I mean.
teams. It's
And
hard
I
to make the
know,
playoffs.
and I'm
anyways.
sure Mahomes know this. I'm sure people are. He's read about the Dan Marino stats. It's not a given you're just gonna be back, even though you're there when you're really young. So, this is a guy who's arguably the most talented quarterback we've ever seen. I think that this is his moment. He's gonna thrive in the big occasion.
No, I agree with you entirely. KC, I think, wins this game, and it's going to be the Mahomes game. I think Garoppolo plays terrible. That's going to be my hot take.
How does he? Okay.
No,
how?
Here,
How?
I think he throws 2 interceptions in the game, at least.
Just
Hear me out, and then you can...
I don't think it's a.
Pound me.
I don't think it's a
Go
bad
ahead, go
take
ahead,
if
go
they
ahead.
need if they
I
need
don't
points and
Exactly.
and they need to rely on Jimmy G throwing. I think you'd much rather be tied or leading, and then you can focus on your run game. But if you're down late, you're gonna need
gonna say.
you're gonna need Jimmy
in
G
a
to throw the
situation,
ball.
if Jimmy G, this is a possible scenario where I see it. Jimmy G throws an interception at some point during the game, late game, they need a big push, interception, all of a sudden game's over. Case get the ball back, that kind of situation. Okay, I can reasonably see that happening.
I think Jimmy G's smart enough to not just go all willy nilly
He may
in the
have
first
to
quarter.
if they're losing late.
I don't think so.
First quarter. Sorry.
In the first half of the game, I don't see him throwing more than
It's gonna be a bit of another chess match. I think you got two great coaches Shanahan calling plays. So I'm very excited for the Super Bowl. This is the Super Bowl that I wanted once we got the championship game set. This is the one I wanted. I'm so happy that we're getting this matchup. What are you laughing at, Roman? Nothing. All right, but anything else to add, guys? Okay, we will end it there. We are very excited for the Super Bowl. If you're still here, tomorrow's episode will be about betting tips for the Super Bowl. Stick around for that. In the meantime, if you want updates for any future episodes like that one, you can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at AmateurPDC. Shop the merch. The link is in the description. You can follow on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, and as usual, like I was saying, we post every single day, so keep coming back for the daily content. We will see you tomorrow.